Hello, hello, and welcome back to Mindfully Rich Podcast, your weekly mindful look at life and finances with a twist. I'm your host, Richie, and before y'all even start, I know I'm late. Child, when I tell y'all, it has been something for me to get this episode recorded and posted on time. So, although I'm late, I'm still on time. Might not come when you want me, but I'll be there on time, okay? That is so bad to take that song and change it into that. But y'all, emotionally, last week was a week for me. I didn't have my good days, and I also had some hills to climb. Y'all know we living in uncertain times, and so it's been something. You know, I've been moving just a little bit slower. I'm pretty sure y'all understand what I mean. And you know, it's hard for me because I'm a Capricorn, and what that means, because some people will be like, "What does that mean?" What it means is Capricorns traditionally are harder on themselves. Like literally, I take myself so seriously. Y'all, my productivity literally has to be through the roof. And when I'm not productive, when I feel like I'm moving a little slower, like it just feels like I've gotten nothing done. Like I say, as a Capricorn, I promise you, I was in the womb doing taxes and I jumped out grown as hell. I'm just telling y'all. And so me having my, emotions make you cry sometime, that type of moment, it was hard for me to get everything, together, get my notes together, talk about what it is I want to talk about. But I'm finally here. So I want to go ahead and just move on and shout out to all of y'all for listening. Thank you so much. I just appreciate everybody sharing these episodes with your circles, all of the love that's been shown to me. Y'all continue to do that. It warms my heart that y'all are listening, and it motivates me to keep coming back so I can do this little chit chat and kiki with y'all every week. So if you're not following me, I'm on IG at Mindfully Rich. So let's see, last week on Mo Money, Mo Problems, but is it though episode, I talked about my opinion of all the different credit card spenders, and then also credit card debt. If you haven't taken a listen to that one, I don't know what's going on. Either people aren't listening as much last week, or y'all just didn't like the episode. But this episode, for some reason, is not getting the traction that I'm used to getting on my episodes. So y'all don't start falling off now, seriously. I need all the listens. I just crossed over to 800 downloads since starting this podcast on March 9th. So y'all keep listening, okay? Keep sharing. Share everywhere, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and move into our Mindful Money Minute segment. And the music title inspiration this week is coming from my boy Webby. And it happens to be one of my favorite songs from him, I.N.D.E.P.E.N.D.E.N.T. Do you know what that means? If y'all don't know that, you should have learned that back in the day, okay? This is like a Negro spiritual. At this point, you should know this song, okay? But independent, I want to talk about independent in regards to adulting. So independence, this is what I should have said in regards to adulting. But more specifically, adulting and managing life and your financial mindset as an adult. So, child, I remember when I was a kid, it's this song. I don't know if y'all do this, like you have a song that instantly takes you back to childhood, but it's an artist named Ahmad, and he had a song called Back in the Day. Y'all remember this song? It was like, back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Okay, tenor, y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Hear these notes? But this song also played at the beginning of The Wood, which also happens to be one of my all-time favorite movies. But this song always takes me back to childhood because I'm sure y'all remember as a kid, you would say, I can't wait till I'm grown, right? Now, it's not that adulting sucks. It's just that adulting is hard, y'all. Oh my goodness. Do y'all remember being in elementary, junior high school, like no rules? Well, it was some rules. You were living under your parents' roof. So of course you had rules and regulations that you had to follow from them. But the biggest thing you had to worry about was being back in the house before the street lights came on, right? And we used to think that that was a problem. That had to be like the worst thing. But then you become an adult and say, okay, What is this? Now, as adults, we have to manage our time, our lives. We run households and raise little humans. Like, it is really something, and it can become really complicated. Like, I think back to, at least in driver's ed, you got a test run. They did not give you a license unless you passed the test. Like, for life and adulting, y'all, we don't even get a test run. We don't get no test. It's just 18, fly out, new adult, go ahead and make it in the world. That's all we get. I know I hear a lot of other millennials talking about lack of money management that we received in school, but hell, if you think about it, lack of instruction for being an adult is what we did. I'm going to speak pretty broadly and say I don't believe a lot of people receive that type of instruction. Like, I feel like there should be some type of handbook. Soon as you turn 18, they hand it to you. This is the book of life. Search your issue of choice through the context, whatever you need to do. I'm just saying. Because when I turned 18, it was in '03. We didn't have smartphones, social media, and we definitely didn't have YouTube University. If you wanted to know how somebody was doing, we had to actually call them. I grew up in Chicago, so that's the Midwest. So I didn't know what people on the West Coast, what they was doing, what they sounded like, what they liked, different things like that, because we didn't have all of the things that people have today. If there was a problem, I couldn't search it on a blog or join some type of Facebook group. You know, like now it's Facebook groups for like everything. And so I didn't have that. And so that's the reason why I feel like, and I'm going to speak for myself, I didn't feel equipped in becoming an adult. And I felt like I grew up really fast and had to learn a lot of hard lessons just because there was a lot of things that I wasn't prepared for, right? I really feel old saying that. I just thought back to that. I'm only 35 and it was not social media when I was 18. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. But I literally look at my kids and say, I don't know if I'm really going to let y'all be grown at 18. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't really know, y'all. Just because knowing how I was at 18 and knowing how I look at that age now, I think I'm going to still, baby them just a little bit. At least teach them, especially since I'm talking about the things that I didn't learn. And I don't know if y'all share in these same feelings. While I know there are tons of soft skills needed in adulthood, I want to talk about the mental and life skills that I believe are important in adulthood. So first, I want to go ahead and talk about insecurity, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but a lot of my beginnings as in my adult years, they were shaped around what other people thought about me. Right? I feel it's something admitting that, but you know what? I feel vulnerable enough to share that with y'all on the podcast. I literally would look at what people would think about where I live, what type of car I drove, how I dressed, the vacations that I took. Because when I turned 18, I told y'all I got married, so I moved away. So vacations, if I was going back home, if I was able to go other places, just looking at all of those different things. And those were depicted on what other people thought. If they said, oh, well, if she don't come home, she can't afford it. Or if she can't do this, then she can't do that. So it's like I was literally looking at all of those things. And I don't know why I was doing that. This then forced my hand to spend more money, whether I could afford stuff or not, just because I'm looking at what other people had to say about me and what they thought about me, which just made me more insecure inside and made me broker in the end. Living your life around what other people say and letting them influence you is not the business, okay? That is not it, okay? Now, I don't think anyone was like telling me this is what it is that you need to do. I just remember myself just acting in those ways. And basically, I remember getting this behavior from being in school. You remember when you was in high school, if you didn't have the hottest shoes, hottest purses, clothes, you was a lame, a buster, you just wasn't popular. And so I believe that because when you turn 18, most people are still in high school. I just took that same mentality from high school into my adulthood, which made me, insecure in adulthood. I don't know if y'all feel me on that, but insecurities like that, needed to be deaded before I even entered into adulthood. And after I learned that I didn't have to think about what other people thought about me or care about what they thought about me, I was able to stay in my own lane. And had I learned that mindset earlier, y'all, when I tell you I would have saved a lot of money and eliminated so much credit card debt trying to do the most when I couldn't do it, child, the stories I could tell y'all. Moving on, next, I wish I knew that everyone did not share in the same life experiences that I've seen, right? I know that sounds crazy, but as an 18-year-old, I used to think that I shared perceptions and perspectives with people. Like everyone grew up in the same life as me. We had the same life experiences, but I was wrong. While I'm appreciative of growing up where I grew up because I believe it made me into the woman that I am today, I wish I'd had adopted looking at situations from other perceptions and vantage points so that I could broaden my understanding of life and where people were coming from. And understanding is a big thing. I mean, Escape said it. What I need from you is understanding. Understanding is not something that everyone has, and it's not a skill that many adults still have acquired. And that's something that I wish I would have learned a little earlier. I had to learn that my upbringings is just my upbringings and my experience, and others, they will have their opinions, their experiences, perceptions, and perspectives, and that they have meaning too. And they will have those points, and learning those points, can help me with broadening what my overall perspective is. Now, had I known that when I was first 18 or when I was first becoming an adult, I would have shortened so much worry time, y'all, and wanting people to see things the way I saw it, trying to be right. I am that person that will argue you down. Had I learned understanding at a younger age, not a better age. But I guess I see it like this. We learn the things that we learn when we learn them. If I believe that everything happens for a reason, I truly believe, hey, but I'm just saying now, just looking back at it, I wish that I would have learned that just a little bit quicker, y'all. I don't know if you remember when you just keep saying, why can't they just see it my way? Or why don't they see I'm right, they wrong? I'm just telling y'all, in situations like that in life, if we would have learned understanding at that time, you would have just a little bit more patience. You'll be able to understand situations in a way different way, which I believe makes you wiser and less stubborn. Getting into the last reason, I wish I would have known that mistakes are a thing. I told y'all earlier, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm probably going to blame everything on being a Capricorn, y'all. My brain is programmed to believe that I know everything and that I should get things right all the time, the first time. I know some of y'all are like, damn, that gotta suck to live like that. It does. It does suck sometimes just because I be thinking that I have to master most things that I try. Like if I don't become, a Thor level God in whatever it is that I try, then I didn't try hard enough. And I can be so hard on myself, like literally. Anything that I've committed to in life, for the most part, I try to give my all and try to ensure that I'm doing it to perfection. So it's really hard when I fail at things. And so I didn't know that, at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Like Aaliyah's song was not out when I first turned 18, so I didn't know. Had it been out, I'd have been like, oh, okay. That's cool. I can dust myself off, try it again. Mistakes are cool. I've spent so many days crying over mistakes that I've made just because I was sitting there thinking just like it's the end of the world, but it's really not. I don't care to share any of those experiences or mistakes that I've made. But I will say that now I've gained the knowledge to know that mistakes, they help us to be more knowledgeable and to gain direction into the way that we should go next. I didn't know that when I first entered adulthood. I was thinking that I did have to have, do things perfect, or I couldn't make mistakes, or it was bad to make mistakes. Now, did anybody tell me that I couldn't make a mistake? Have no idea. why I thought that, that's just how I thought. Because you see, back in the day, in the era that I grew up in, I was an athlete. And so they wasn't giving out participation awards. Like, you had to be good. And so I believe I took that same mindset as an athlete, thinking that I can't make mistakes. Like, nobody told me that, but I don't remember having any adults teach me also that you are going to make mistakes. And so I was just hard on myself. And so when you take all of those things that I've talked about, insecurity, perception, and mistakes, I believe that each of those things, when you gain understanding and gain control of those areas in life and gain your mindset of those areas, you're able to make better decisions. And you need your decision making skills, just because every single decision that we make now influences something in the future. So the thing about money and debt, when it comes to those things, there's already guidelines that help us manage money, one of those things being a budget. When it comes to insecurity and perception, that can influence the way you spend. Your spending habits can be created off of how it is that you see the world or what you think other people are thinking of you. That's the reason why I had that whole thing on what I talked about. And so you don't want that to be something that leads you into debt just because you haven't taken a hold of any insecurities that you may have or broadened your perception of life. Although mistakes, they're going to happen, as we just talked about, as a kid, didn't think that they were supposed to. But although mistakes are going to happen, it's making sure that you learn from those. And especially in the financial arena, when you have different mistakes, like say, I didn't budget enough money here, or I made the mistake of spending too much money over here. You learn from those different mistakes that you did so that you're able to do better. Now, if you're not learning from the mistakes and you just continue to do the same things over and over again, that's insanity. That's something that your girl cannot help you with. You're going to need to see one of those professional people so that they can help you with insanity, okay? Well, I hope that y'all enjoyed this topic today, talking about independence and adulting. It was a little bit lighter just because I've been talking about a lot of heavy stuff on the podcast lately. And so it was a little lighter. So I hope that y'all enjoyed. If you took something from this, or you think that a younger adult could take something from this, make sure you share this with them so that they can hear the episode too. Maybe they'll like it. You just never know. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and move into our mindful money quote of the week. And it's how you deal with failure that determines how you achieve success. I really like this quote. This quote is great because throughout my adulting journey, it wasn't easy to learn my way around independence, y'all, not to say the least. But from failing, I learned how to change my mindset and succeed in those areas that I talked to y'all about today: insecurity, perception, and also about mistakes. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Q&A portion. I received a question, and it just asks, how do you plan out your financial goals? At first, I was wondering, how do I want to answer that? Just because financial goals are subjective. That all just depends on what it is that you want from your life. But I also know as an adult, sometimes we stop dreaming. I believe that y'all need to sit down probably in front of a Disney movie or something, get you I believe in vision boards and everything, just because with a vision board, you're able to see where it is that you want to be. Sit down, figure out what it is that you want to do, what you want to see. I know that we're living in uncertain times at this point in time, but that doesn't mean that you can't plan for the future. Let's, use our words to claim that there is going to be a future. And so if you're trying to figure out how to plan out your financial goals, you have to first know what it is that you want to do. So that takes some time. And I believe that we have time on our hands whenever it is that you're able to just sit down and just look at life and say, I want to do this. No matter what it is, don't stop. Don't think, oh, that costs too much, so I'm not able to do that or achieve that or get that. You have to just jot that thing down, research how much that thing is going to cost, and then you start planning accordingly how you're going to be able to achieve that goal. So that's my advice on there, and good luck with that. If y'all have any questions that you want to ask anonymously, of course, DM me on IG. I'm at Mindfully Rich, and I answer it right here on the podcast. Y'all know how we end this thing. Asking all them questions. So the song I got on repeat this week is Alina Baraz, More Than Anything. It's off her new project. It was Divine. And I'm also listening to JoJo's Gold. It's off of her new album. I don't really know the name of hers like that. I wasn't really on JoJo like that, but I tell you what, one of my girls told me to listen to it. That song Gold, that is gold. Both songs are definitely a vibe. So if y'all want to check out some new songs, check those out. So the shows that I'm into this week, of course, Insecure, love the show. Issa's my girl, but y'all really need to get off Molly. If y'all watch the show, y'all know what's going on. It's a friendship breakdown between Molly and Issa. And the main word that I'm going to take from their episode is communication. As adults, let's use communication a little bit more. I know I wasn't talking about it on here, but seriously, if you have a problem, communicate that with people. Can't nobody read your mind. That is a serious thing, and we need to learn that. I don't think we learned that in school either. So look at y'all getting an additional skill that we need to learn. And then also I'm watching For Life on ABC. When I tell y'all it is good, okay, with the T, it's really good. Go on and check that out. Other than that, nothing's really grinding my gears. I just love saying grinding my gears because I love Family Guy. Overall, still blessed, but I have been in kind of like an emo mood. I told y'all a little earlier on the podcast when I first started it, I lost my mom back in October of 2018, and then not too far down the line in May of 2019, I lost my dad, and so I'm coming up on a year of my dad's passing now, and I've just been thinking about the both of them. So of course, it's making me real emotional, but me being the strong person that I am, sometimes I don't allow those emotions to get to me, and I just go to God and pray. And so I am still just praying strength over my life from that, just because that is a lot to deal with. And I believe now I'm starting to take in all of those things that I've been through. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Not really nothing, like I said, grinding my gears, just in a prayerful mode, still grateful every day. Me and my kids, we're good. My family members, my friends, we're all still good. No one's suffering. We don't have any illnesses. So for the most part, your girl is good over here. So a big yes to all y'all for listening to my little old podcast. Appreciate y'all. Keep coming back. Y'all make sure that y'all continue listening and sharing. Y'all know word of mouth is one of the most powerful ways to share things. So make sure y'all are telling people about the podcast. That's if you like it. So I love hearing from y'all, knowing who my niche audience is. So y'all make sure you continue to keep reaching out. That motivates me to continue to keep coming back. If you're not following me on IG, I'm at Mindfully Rich. And until next week, when I hit y'all with another one.